And I'm also thankful to my friend Victor and where is Stanley? Are you here? Okay. I have my friend Victor here. Yes. The founder of the Cyber Institute of Atlanta. I used to be a physiologist, a lecturer. I was in the academics. My aspiration in life, I remember when I was interviewed for the job of as a lecturer in the University of Lagos. My sister, Pastor Mrs. knows Professor Shiru. When I was interviewing for the job, they asked me what was my aspiration, why did I want the job in the University of Lagos as a lecturer. And I said I wanted to be the Vice Chancellor of the University of Lagos. and the dean and everybody said, you know what, so you're looking at every one of us and you will have, so. But then later on I said I wanted to be, I changed my career again, I said I wanted to be, then as I was going, I got into the system again, I said I wanted to be a Nobel Prize winner, to be one of the first black men to be a Nobel Prize winner. But all that changed when I came over to the United States, because so that it's a whole new environment, it's a whole new life. So when I go here, I switch my career and I switch to information technology. And I have no regret, I'm thankful to God. And so I'm into for information technology, I'm specifically into cybersecurity. And I believe I'm to talk today about career switch. Do I have the PowerPoint? Can you let me put, is the PowerPoint okay? The PowerPoint is not on, so we carry on. So I'm to talk today about career switch, and specifically into, if you're considering career switch into information technology. So I won't limit it to cybersecurity because the title says information technology. I don't have much to say because I talked about the same thing last year. I'll just give us a little bit introduction because information technology is so big, it's so huge, and I don't even know where to start. I struggle so much on what to talk about, how to frame it, up to last time I kept cracking my head, how do I start, where do I end it? And I just say, you know what, and God just laid it to my heart, something I'll have to do differently. And I'll pause shortly and I'll play us a video which will just capture everything. So information technology, as we all know, is pretty much where the whole world is going. It's what is taking over the world. Everything that is happening around us now is information technology. And I was trying to define the information technology to us and was trying to actually look for what are the careers, opportunity in information technology. Trying to define, I was looking for a list. That's okay, let me list opportunities in the information technology. And trying to Google it and look for it, it was like, you're crazy if you are looking for opportunities in information technology because it's so big, it's so huge, it's so wide that it's like, you can't just list it anymore. I mean, before you can talk about it and say this is information technology. Information technology now has no limit. So it's just boundless. So you try to say, oh, this is where the limit of information technology is like. Nobody knows the limit. It's just going. Everything now is information technology. Now we're talking of Internet of Things. The car we drive today is all operated by a computer. So if we just think, so it's so big, it's so huge that it's where you are that you can define. It's what you do that you can define. So when we're talking of getting into information technology, you just have to first of all find out for yourself, who am I? And that is where I'm going to start the story from. This, what I have here is so small we can't find it. It's too small to read. I myself, I can't read it from here. But I was trying to show you the different feed and what is possible, but there's no way we can see. I mean, I went there, I got this one from DICE, which all DICE does is to list job opportunity in the IT, and I was trying to capture about 2 pages there, and that lists the top leading jobs career in IT, and I was trying to show us the different feed and the salaries and all that kind of a thing. We have close to 100 of them there, and trying to see if that would help. But so there is so much feed going on there in information technology, so many areas there. The common one we know, one of them is cybersecurity. That's where I am. And there is a reason why I'm in cybersecurity. We have database, we have system admin, all this one, we have all this one. But for somebody who wants to get into information technology, remember, I'm not talking about just cybersecurity now. We're talking about information technology. And I'm not trying to limit anybody to cybersecurity or database or anything. Just keep open mind. So if, for instance, you have no idea what information technology is, or you're thinking of changing a career and you want, so what I'm doing now, I don't want to do it anymore. And I want to move into information. I want to move to information technology, IT. Where do I start from? And that is the question. I want to change my career. I want to do information technology. And that is what I want us to question. One of the questions I want to help us with. The one universal way for everybody to start with, there is a program called CompTIA, which is right from the beginning of when they started with the IT or information technology. It's been organized by all the leading firms in the Microsoft, Cisco, all the people that started this information technology, all the leading companies in the computer industry. They all came together and formed this body called CompTIA. And for everybody that has no idea what computer is, how computer works, or anything, this has always been the first place to start from. If you at least start from and go and take a course on CompTIA, A+, and you do that, by the time you finish your A+ training, you will have a clue as to what next you need to do. And that is what I would advise. If somebody say, okay, I want to go into IT and I don't know what to do, the very first thing I would say is go ahead and do A+. You can do the A+, you can go to a college and do it, you can go to a community college, or you can do it through a boot camp. Actually, about the second slide, you can do it through a boot camp. Boot camp is like some of the things we do. We're not really a boot camp thing, but boot camp is like we have people that do training in like maybe business centers and all that kind of thing, like a short like this. We have people that organize like 1 week training, 2 week trainings. So I do like maybe $500, $1,000, $2,000, and say, okay, 2 weeks we training you on A+, and then you get to know what A+ is all about, or you go to conventional college and do the A+ program. Or if you don't want to do that, or you can just go and register for a normal college program and start that way. Or the way most people have done it, you do what we call self-training. The self-training, the danger about self-training is this. Most people fall by the roadside, and that is very, very dangerous. One of the things I always show my students, I still have it here. I started with Strayer University. When I started with Strayer University back in 2006, at the end of the first semester, I quit. because I'm a university professor, I was a university professor, I know how to do training, I know how to do teaching, good in research, I quit. So, and I said, okay, by the time I finished 3 years, I would have got myself indebted to about $100,000 loan. Everything they were teaching, I could sit down and talk and teach myself. So I said, no, I don't want to get all this loan. So I quit. And I started teaching myself. But you know what? It took me almost 6 years. Yeah, I can show you my certification here in my wallet from the time I quit Australia to the time I got my job. So when you do go for self-training, the problem is if you don't have somebody to guide you, you just keep on banging your head, walls and up and down, and it might take you much longer time to get there. But thank God for YouTube and Google today. YouTube is the biggest and best university out there, but also it's full of junks. If you don't know what you're doing, if you don't have good directions, you might get astray. God forbid. You are looking for information on A+, and the next thing you see is you see images of things you don't want to see. And some of us, we are too weak, we got distracted. Right? Maybe you're looking for A+, and you see somebody in Florida beach doing something stupid and say, oh, and you get distracted there. Yes, it's things do happen. So, and you get distracted, and before you know it, you got carried away. So all that kind of a thing happens. So, but story is this: if you want to get into information technology, the first thing you want to do, at least start with the foundation, is to do A+. That will give you an idea whether that will give you an informed decision to let you know whether is this something for me or not. By the time you finish your A+, tells you about what computer is all about, and that will like introduce you to all the kinds of information about IT, and you'll be able to figure out if you need to go further and specialize in some areas. You start having an idea of what next you need to do. A+ is just, don't do A+ and think that is what's going to give you a job. No. You're just doing the A+ to start having an idea on what next to do. How do you move further? How do you advance yourself? It's just going like you begin to gather information. Then once you finish your A+, you can start thinking of Microsoft. That's what we call, back in the day, that's what we call MCP, Windows 7. How many of us know that you can go and do your Windows 7 or Windows 10 certifications? Basic Windows 7 or Windows 7 or Windows 10 certifications, learning about it, how it works, how it's operated. And doing those two alone will give you a lot of information as to how this computer works. I remember when you come to our school and you start the training with us, we start people with A+ and Windows 7. Just 1 week, and we teach people how computer works and Windows 7. People are just blown away and say, oh my God, I never knew my computer can do this much. Yes, the same computer you use every day, the same Windows 7, the same Windows 10. By the time we start showing you what the computer can do, people are just saying, huh? Yes. And I always say this again, I'm sorry, I don't mean to insult anybody here, but from my experience, after having training people now and walking people through on the training, one thing I have realized, which I suffered from a lot, which through the process of the training, was we had a program we called, at the end of our training, we called it Beating the Gate Man. Beating the Gate Man. For those people that have gone through the training, they don't understand the slang. We call it Beating the Gate Man. beating the gate man in our program, if you're in the program, is about writing your resume, doing the interview, and accepting the job offer. For those of us coming from the other side of the ocean, we're not prepared for this. This is a whole different exercise here. For us, coming from, especially from Nigeria, where I come from Lagos, most of us are handed over the job because our uncle worked in the company, or brother, or somebody. We never went through the normal process of interview. But here, for the kind of job you are looking for somebody to pay you $120,000 a year job, you must prove you know what you're doing. Somebody's not going to be paying you $60 an hour, $70 an hour, and you think you go to the job and you're just going to be dusting the table. No. No, it's not going to happen. No. Trust me, no. You got to prove you know what you're doing. And that is what you cannot scale through. How do you prove that? And it's a very serious exercise. A lot of us are not prepared at all. Forget about IT now. Forget about cybersecurity. If I give somebody a microscope now and start doing basic interview process, I can tell you 75% of people in this room will fail basic interview questions. If I start asking us basic interview questions, I can tell us right here, as a matter of fact, I can tell us 90% of us will fail because the same exercise I conduct in the school when the students come. 90% of us will fail. And so some of these things, not just a matter of information technology or anything, basic skills, Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel. This one happens to me recently. Even my job, I call myself IT. They gave me an assignment. My job, even my IT, this is part of the problem we come with from Africa. Those of us come. This assignment required that I use Excel, Microsoft Excel. I know Excel, but I don't know certain aspects of Excel. I needed to use Microsoft Excel to do this aspect. And if I had known this aspect, I would have solved this problem much quicker. And I was complaining, this problem, there. Then, they just say, just call another of my colleague and say, can you please work with Banji on this? And this guy just joined me. And I've been struggling with this for like maybe 3-4 days. And this guy joined me. It's like within an hour, the job was done. I felt ashamed of myself. And I'm not alone. I'm not sure how many of us here can use Excel in a way that if we get on an enterprise environment, that we can prove ourselves. And these are products that, if you get an enterprise environment, it's being used so heavily. And meanwhile, we go to the job and say, we complete, they don't give us the job. Microsoft Word. I employ somebody in the office to come and work for me. I said, I have to type a letter, type information. He said, doctor, can I write it with my hand? I said, wait a minute, this is an IT company, and I'm telling you to give somebody a receipt. And you're telling me you cannot type a letter out using Microsoft Word. You say you're a graduate. I'm serious. I don't know, I shouldn't go into details, because maybe you might start knowing people I'm talking about. So, this is real. Doing simple things. Don't let me start, because I think maybe I'll start talking, they start knowing people I'm talking about, so maybe I shouldn't go into details. But these are the problems we have. Some of the things that deprive us from being able to compete effectively in society. some basic skills. They are the bitter truth, but we don't like to hear it. We don't like to hear it. They are bitter truth. Unless we wake up. You just have to wake up. And the same way I talk to my students when they come. So I tell you, look, they know me. So I will say it's also unless I'm telling you lies. That's when I'm afraid. Shake it, throw it up and down, throw it left and right. Go and check it out. It's the truth. Unless I'm telling you lies, that's when I'm afraid. So that is the way I deal with it. And they go and come back, they find out it's the same thing I'm saying. So those are the basic things. It's not just transforming your careers into information technologies, but we just need to do a little bit better in many things. And apart from that, please let me know when my time is going, because I have another video I will show. The other thing I would love to talk about, which I was going to talk about before, there is another thing I used to call TFT. I call it thoughts, focus, and time. I won't talk about that one today because I just want to use for a little video I want to show. Because if I start talking about the cyber security and everything, I get excited. I won't drop the mic. So I just don't want to get into the details of that. But I just said I want to be very, very short. And I show this video, and this video will speak volume. And I'll just maybe during question 10 minutes more. Okay, the video is about 10 minutes. Victor, can you guys help me show the video? Victor, can you help me tell them this? The video let's also watch this video. It speaks very volume about career building. And we can relate to it. Then after that, I think question and answer, I'll answer any other question. Yes, please. So let's just watch the video.
something that motivates you. What motivates you? Is it the rubbish situation that you're in? The pain that you're experiencing in your current job? The boss that gives you a hard time? Find something that's going to motivate you. As an example, my family motivates me. You've got to find your inspiration and a reason to work and a reason to put the hours in. Here's one of the reasons that I have, and this is Lauren. So Lauren, what do you always tell Daddy to do?
Back to work! Back to work, Daddy!
And there you go. So I have to go back to work. Why would Daddy go back to work?
I need toys! I need toys. I need sweets. Cause I need breath and cakes and countries and souvenirs and toys.
Okay, so Daddy must work because you want books, sandwiches, toys, and nice things. Is that right?
Yeah.
Good.
And makeup and cameras.
You want cameras as well, do you? Good.
Back to work, Daddy.
Don't let your career crash and burn. Watch my video, which I've linked here if you need some motivation. But there are many motivational videos on YouTube that you can watch if you need to get some motivation to change your life. But here's an example from my personal experience. Now, after school, I went to university, but unfortunately, I was only able to go to university for 1 year, and I had to drop out because of financial difficulties or financial issues. So there I was, 19 years old, and I had to drop out of university. It was a devastating blow for me. I had my whole life planned out. I assumed that I would become a mechanical engineer and have a great career. But there I was after 1 year, and I couldn't continue with my university education. I had to go and take a job in retail. Now, if any of you have worked in retail, you know that retailing involves long working hours. I was working 6 days a week, long hours every day. Now, here's a principle I think you need to remember. Make sure that your older self thanks your younger self for the decisions that your younger self has made. In other words, make good decisions today so that yourself in 10 years' time or 20 years' time or whatever thanks you for the decisions that you made today. So I say thank you to my younger self for making the choice to study part-time. So I was working these long hours, 6 days a week, and in the evening I was studying. Fortunately, I was 19 years old, so I was young and had a lot of energy. I didn't have a girlfriend at the time. I simply focused on doing my work during the day and studying at night. And what I managed to do was complete a 3-year degree in 3 years, part-time, working like a crazy person. That was a good decision that my younger self made. Fortunately, my younger self also made another good decision. I had heard about Microsoft and information technology, and I studied part-time, again in the evening, for MCSE, so my Microsoft Engineer certification. In those days it was NT4, so quite a long time ago. But what I did is I spoke to my boss at the time, and I arranged that I'd work longer hours on other days so that I could shorten one day, and then I would drive 2 hours to go and attend a class. So I was fortunate enough to make the arrangement that I would put in extra hours on other days so that I could take off 2 or 3 hours on a Tuesday, and then I would drive 2 hours to go and attend a class. So I'd worked basically a normal day that most people would work, get off 2 or 3 hours early, drive 2 hours and go and attend the class, and then drive 2 hours back home again. So that's how I managed to get my MCSE. I worked full-time, got my degree part-time, got my MCSE, my first IT certification part-time, and then doors started opening for me. Now that wasn't the end of it. I was working in an information technology role, supporting Windows machines and desktops, when I heard about Cisco. And fortunately, my younger self saw that Cisco was going to be very important. So what did I do? I studied for my CCNA. I paid to attend Cisco classes. In those days, there wasn't any online material. So I paid to attend classes myself, and I paid for the exam myself. So in other words, rather than spending money on drink or parties or other things, I took the little money I had, loaned some other money, and attended classes and invested in myself. I made the decision to get certified in Cisco, and that opened up even more doors, and I eventually became a CCIE. So why am I telling you this? I'm telling you that if you're stuck in a dead-end job, or what seems to be a dead-end job, you can change your life just like I changed my life. Don't believe that you're stuck where you are. It's so much easier today to change your life. In those days, we didn't have the internet like we have today. We didn't have smartphones like we have today. The only thing that's stopping you is you and how you manage your time. You may say that you have no time. Look seriously at what you're doing with your time. Again, have a look at my other video where I talk about time management. If you want more time management tips, let me know. I'm telling you that today, you can make a change in your life in a way that wasn't possible when I was younger. The internet has opened up a world of learning, and you have the chance to change your life through education. What's stopping you from studying something new every day and changing your life? Don't stagnate. Don't let your career come to a grinding halt. Don't let it crash and burn. Keep on studying, keep on learning, keep on adapting.
Yes, you will. Please feel free to clap.
So that's just a short video, and as last year I was here, I thank God I was here. I'm sorry, Timmy, can't find Timmy here. Timmy was like one of my weaknesses, at least from last year. And I still have Victor here. So Victor, where are you? Come, just show your face. So I'm going to call Victor to order now. So Victor, since last year I came here, I don't like this TV. I don't like this TV. I don't like TV. So I will replace one. You will replace one. Timmy will replace one. 3 of us, right? So 3 of us. I mean, I will replace one. Victor, see, you agree with me? Yes, sir. Mommy, you will tell Timmy, okay, the 3 of us will replace these 3 TVs, okay, and we show what is meant to be a cybersecurity engineer. Okay, and so right in front of each other, 3 of us will, at least will take care of it. Okay? All right.
Thank you very much, Dr. Adegunloye. And I see that we have some questions, so we'll take a couple of questions. Who has a question?
I do.
All right, can I get someone to help me with mics, please? We'll pass it.
Good afternoon. My name is Sabina Ariwood. Thank you, Doctor, for the talk. But there was something you said that caught my fancy. I think that regardless of whether you are changing a career or you're trying to advance one, at some point you will need interviewing skills. And from your experience, about 90% of the people you have met interview very badly. Would you please, especially for the sake of people who may be changing or looking for careers, or the younger ones here, give us a few nuggets or what to expect at these interviews and how we can respond to them. Because I think that will give us the practical examples of what to do when we face these situations, and we will at different times. Am I correct? So if you will please, based on your experience, just show us 1 or 2 things we need to know about how to interview when we have such opportunities. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. One of the very first questions I ask is if I ask the question, so if I ask the question, tell me about yourself, how will you answer that question? Tell me about yourself. That's an interview question. You just applied to me for my company as a cybersecurity engineer, and I ask you, tell me about yourself.
So I can feel free to talk off the cuff, right?
Yes, sir. Go ahead and answer
My
the
name is
question.
I'm a cybersecurity expert. I've worked in XYZ, Fortune 500 companies. And really why I want to work with you is because I want to see how I can help to contribute to the value of your business and hopefully also grow myself.
So, as what? As a cybersecurity engineer, as what? So, what qualification do you have?
I'm just being off the cuff. This is not really, okay? So I'm just trying to answer your question.
So yes, that's correct. So the reason why I asked, okay, that's great. Exactly, that's so you can have a seat.
Thank you.
The reason why I asked the question, that is the very first question they ask us. Please, the first time you go for the interview, depending on when you're looking for the job, it's usually the way the job comes is this. A lot of time, the human resources can call you. If it's the human resources that call you first, one of the very first questions they ask is this question: can you tell us about yourself? And what they're asking you is this: when you're going for the job, all you're doing, you are the product. You are the product, and you are selling yourself. So that is one thing we have to know. It's a salesmanship thing. So you have to sell yourself. So you have to sell yourself. So when they say, tell me about yourself, these people have problem. This company has a problem. And they need somebody who is competent, who can come in and help them solve the problem. Do you understand? And I always go to with this example. When I go home and cite this example, every one of us can relate to. You just bought a car. I know we in the Nigerian community, we don't like to buy car notes. Like, a car costs $125,000. That's the kind of car most of my cybersecurity engineer guys want to buy. $135,000 car. When after they start working for like 3 years. BMW. Okay, you don't want to buy it on car note. 5 years later or 3 years later, you got this car for $40,000. I said, you know what? This car was $135,000 4 years ago. I got a deal, $40,000. We went and paid cash. Got the car. A week later, you saw a little light on the car. You took it to a dealer. And the dealer said, I need to fix this car. And the dealer said, scratch. He said, this day you brought this car on Wednesday. I don't have any of my engineers here to the technician. The only technician I have, engineer, he just started working yesterday. I really don't, he just started working yesterday, and I'm not sure. Do you mind if I let him try the car for you? No. Oh? What you say? No. No. Okay. This is exactly what happened when you go for the job interview. This is exactly what happened when you go before the employer and you say you are looking for a job. You go into the employer and you have to prove that you are the best in the market. So when the employer says, tell me about yourself, and you say, oh, my name is Banji Adegunloye. I came from Nigeria in 2000. I have a PhD in physiology. I'm married with 4 children. No. No. What has got to do with, we have a cybersecurity problem. We have a firewall that needs to be configured. That's got nothing to do with that. But when I got there, I said, you know what? Tell me about yourself. Yes, my name. I don't even need to talk about us. Of course, you have my resume, you have my name. See, tell me about yourself. Yes, I've been working in cybersecurity for the past 10 years. I've worked with Checkpoint. My current job, just completed a job. I've just completed a project working on IPS, and deployed about 80 firewalls. And in the last project, I migrated from 40-gig firewall to Palo Alto firewalls. And 3 years ago, I was involved in a project where I was migrating Juniper firewalls into Checkpoint firewalls, and I started taking and blah, blah, blah. Okay, see, that is enough here. So I'm telling them, and even before I said that, I have looked at the job description. Hey, and they tell me, well, you buy one on this TV, right? Deal, huh? So I'm buying one. You buy one, okay. So by the time we're done, so I've already looked at the job description. And look at the cash. Before they start the interview, they will take their time and explain to you what the job is. That is the first. Don't think they don't know what they're doing. They will tell you. They say, "Oh, has anybody told you about the job?" If you say yes, okay. They say they will still go ahead and explain to you, this is the job role, this is that, that is that. They won't tell you these are the hours, because they want to see how. So when they now ask you, tell us about yourself, they want you to explain to them how your qualification fits into the position, how you can address, yes, how you can relate your past experience into their problem. So that is exactly what you want to say. Have I answered the question? So that is what they want you to say at that stage.
All right, we'll take one more question. All right, the young lady.
Can you please, you said something about beating the gate, the
Yeah.
gate man.
Beating the gate man.
Can you please repeat the three, whatever, writing the resume?
Writing the resume, job interview, and accepting the offer letter. The offer letter, yes. See, when the offer letter comes, there are 3 stages. The resume is the one that advertises you. Without the resume, you cannot be called. You see, without the resume out there, you cannot be invited for the interview. Without you passing the interview, you cannot receive the offer letter. So your resume, first of all, has to publicize you, make you noticed. So without a good resume, you cannot be invited for the interview. So the first thing we have to do is have to make sure your resume makes you notice. Then the second part is that after you are noticed and you are invited for the interview, that you are able to scale through the interview process. That is where the knowledge comes in. That then accepting the offer letter. For you to accept the offer letter, that is when they will now send you this long list. All the experiences you have everywhere you live and everything. That's what we call BBC, background verification. Everything you write there, they will have to verify it. Okay? That is the word smart in America. You have to know what it means to be smart. Okay? Okay, so everything you write there has to be verified. If any of those cannot be verified, you ain't got that job. So whatever you write there, you've been smart before, that smartness has to translate to whatever you write has to be verified. So if you say you finish from University of Ibadan, they have to go back they will go there and verify. Don't think they will not verify. So we've had these cases before, going forward and backward. Whatever you write there, make sure this word is verifiable. And that is what all those things we deal with it. Even for you to accept the salary and all those things, we discuss with my students and advise them on how to. That doesn't have to be the same thing on your resume. We talked about all that, so we educate people on all those things.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Excuse me.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll take the lady, the red wrap first.
Thank you. Well, really, I really benefited a lot from your lecture. I just want to know whether you are training, you are doing any training in your company, and then what type of training are you doing and how somebody can be involved. Thank you.
Yeah, actually, we have a school. I have this. We're in the program. I run a school called Cyber Institute of Atlanta, and we're in the process of applying for accreditation now to become a full college. And we just started a new session now. This week, we just started a new class, and we do have a couple of people here that in the last 3 or 4 years, we have over close to 40 students now that have graduated, and some of them doing as many as 4 jobs. I don't know how this guy does it, but I have one of my students do like 4 jobs, making over $40,000 a month. So yes, it's real. So I have about 3 of them doing like 2-3 jobs. So, and average salary is about $120,000. So that we don't training the training takes about average of about 6 to 9 months. I have a lady that came in. This is a military lady. She was in Afghanistan also. She went to Afghanistan in December on the contract. Then she came back in March. She joined the class in March. I think on Thursday she came to me and said, Dr. Banji, I got a job in Virginia. So in her own case, barely 4 months. But she was full-time, she was morning, evening, she was fully dedicated. But most people on about 6 to 9 months, they transition and they get a job. Huh? The fee? I will talk about that. But it's pretty much, it's very cheap.
I'll see you personally. I think it should be said.
Right now we charge $6,500, but the cost of the training is about $30,000 outside. Yeah, cyber security cost of training is well over $30,000. The work we do, if you go outside, it's over $30,000, but we charge $6,500.
Are we based on mentally?
Yeah, we do. It's a community. What we do is a community-based thing.
Okay.
It's just to help. I don't even benefit financially from it. It's just a community-based thing. People that are working there are volunteers.
Can I have one?
Yeah, we can do it. We do that after the class. Okay. I don't want to turn it to an advertisement.
We'll take one last question. One last question.
Yes, I want to ask.
Yes, ma'am.
Concerning the introduction.
Okay.
Introduction. In the case of somebody who just graduated out of the college, you've not gotten any experience of work before, and you were called for an interview in a company. So how will you introduce yourself?
It could depends on the job you are applying for. I mean, so it's a lot of things plays into that. So there's a way you word your resume. So if you have no experience, there's a way you describe your resume. First of all, there's a way you construct your resume if you have no experience. So number one, when you are describing your resume, you don't put a work experience as a resume, as your strength. So what you do is you put your so there's a way you construct your resume first of all. So the style of your resume is different from somebody who has 10 years experience. That's what you do. So there is a way you go about that. So maybe after the class we can talk about that. But the style of your resume is different from the style of somebody who has 10 years experience. So you play your strength. You play to where your strength is. Yes. So that's why I'm saying that for people who are born here, who went to high school and everything here, my kids, my first 2 sons, I spoke about them last year here. They both in the salary of about $200,000. They both went to Cornell. When my sister, who was talking about neighborhood before, I could relate to that very well. Because when I could hardly have $5 in my pocket, I made sure, I was here last year, I spoke about my family. I made sure the neighborhood we live had the best school system in Georgia then. Not now, but then, back in 2009, we made sure we moved to this neighborhood because we had no money. My house, the insurance cut off my house, insurance to my house. The insurance company refused to insure my house. No insurance, because the house was that bad. I'm serious, I'm not lying on this. The house was so bad, the condition in this neighborhood. It wasn't that the neighborhood was bad because my house, the condition, when it was raining, half of the house was leaking. But thank God, it took me less than 1 year when conditions changed. But my children got out of this neighborhood, they both went to Cornell. One is in Facebook now, one is in Google. They both make about 200K.
All right, we'll take just one more.
Praise the Lord. I just want to go back to the interviewing question. I know that we have varieties of people here, not just into IT or cyber tech or whatever. So when we're talking about the introduction part of somebody say, tell me about yourself, do you just go straight to selling yourself, or do you say something about you to kind of get
Sell
connection?
yourself straight. Tell them your skill. That's what they want to know.
Amen.
Amen. Sell yourself.
Can I object? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
To the glory of God, I interviewed, and that's why I was saying to some extent, it depends on the job that you're trying to get. Okay, I don't interview for 6 figures job, but at least something close, and I want to get a connection with you first before we go to the detail of what do you do, and it's what is your, it's like, tell me about you. When I ask the question of tell me about yourself, I want to know about you. Then I want to hear about selling yourself to me. I have your resume in front of me, and I know what your resume says, your qualification. But it's, again, I think it depends on the kind, the quality, or the kinds of job that you are out there looking for. So if she asked a question about somebody that just got out of high school, got out of college, that is trying to get a job, you really don't have nothing to sell. Besides your level of education, but there's something in your background that might make me connect to you, that make me feel like I need to give this person a try. I need to build them to kind of help them to get there. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
I understand what you're saying. That's why I said you build your resume where your strength is, and that's what I said. So I didn't say. See, for somebody just coming out, I'm not, look at me, I'm not, that is your profession now, you interview, that is not my area. I just do that as a byproduct. So maybe you might want to partner with us here and help us out. Maybe I'll have to talk to you, and maybe that's one of the reasons why I'm here today, because I'm looking for somebody to partner with, to help me on this area. I'm serious, this is why I do business, because this is how we grow. Somebody to talk with me, I have to talk to you when I finish on this area, because this is how we grow as a community. Amen. And this is where we rub shoulders together and grow. One area, Victor can be a witness, when we all going to, Victor, when you do interview, how many Indians interview you? Pretty much every interview he did are interviewed by Indians, people that schedule him for interview. What am I going with this? For IT job, you go for the interviews. 90% of the job we do on interviews, when we go for the interview, people who are making money out of us are the Indians. Yes, then it's not so. Even the recruiters. The recruiters. So it's not that they are learning. They're sitting down in India and they go recruiting us here. The job is more than $50 an hour, and they pay you here $80 an hour. They make like $70 an hour on you. This is real. I'm not making this up. Meanwhile, so we're thinking, so this is where some of us here, we make it $25 an hour. I'm sure Pastor see, some of us here, we make $25 an hour. Look like, we think like we are the one that owns this church. And you don't know that there are people that are having 20 people on their payroll. Each of them is making like $50 for every hour they work. He's making $50 on them. What stops us as a Nigerian? I don't know of any Nigerian who's into recruiting.
They are not. Doing it now.
This is a landmine. This is like gold mine. What is this? Why are we not doing it? Why are we not doing it? You don't have to be an IT person. I'm looking for somebody to partner with, to just work on this area. I can't do that. I mean, I don't know.
Can I?
Thank you. You're going to catch yourself?
I just want to help answer her question.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
My advice to you is that my advice to you, the question that you asked, the way you formulate your resume is try to, in the beginning, there are two different types of ways, there are many types of ways that you will formulate your resume, but if you have no experience, you will go the objective route. So that being, what are you trying to achieve? Like, I'm a new person, just graduated, I'm trying to get into this field to do X, Y, Z. You go an objective route. And then after that, do some supporting documentation in the sense of what skills do you have that can help you achieve that? Education, volunteering, anything that you have along those lines that can help you achieve what you're trying to do, add that to your resume. And then after that, what I would also advise you to do is try to set up some informational interviews, utilizing things like LinkedIn. Reach out to several people, ask a lot of different questions. And that, I think, can help you, in a sense, guide you to where you want to be if you don't have a lot of experience.
We're sharing. Appreciate him. Please. All right, we'll take just another comment or question.
So I wanted to say, in formulating your resume, just like he said, you need to do a lot of networking. I don't know, a lot of people don't know, I came into this country with a BS degree from Nigeria, and I started out working in the lab just because I had a chemistry degree. But along the line, I found out boring and I wanted to do something more. So I went into the line of business, supply chain and logistics, which I operate in right now. And I work with my Nigerian degree. A lot of people don't know. I don't have my master's yet. I'm still working on it. But a lot of networking helps. You need to network a lot. Network, talk to people. Don't relent on what you're doing presently. You need to look for organizations to volunteer in. That gives you an experience. There's a conference I applied for right now that I'm going to go. Is the United Nations Civil Society Conference in Utah, Salt Lake City. You need to look for opportunities like that. Go out there. The things are not going to come to you. You need to go out there and network with people. Go to organizations, go to community services, go to events and stuff like that. That builds your resume. That builds your resume. It helps you out. So that's what I mean.
This is mostly for the little ones among us. While you're even from middle school, there are so many activities in school that you can volunteer, you can participate up until you get to college. And when you do all this is part of what you use as your resume as a beginner when you're trying to get to a job. It counts a lot. What you do, the society you belong to, the better club, all those little things that you think is nothing. All the societies that you do in the school, even from middle school. Don't wait until you get to high school. And even if you're already in high school, don't wait until you get to college. Even if you're already in college, don't wait. Don't wait. Don't wait. Even old ones too, we need to participate in little things. If I'm interviewing you,
Because I do interview. If I interview you and I see, even if you don't have my experience that I need, but your background shows what you have been committed to in the past, it also counts.
Thank you very much. Rubbing minds and rubbing minds. Learning from each other. Dialogue stimulated by what our speaker said. Now, just want to remind you what he said so we don't lose track of that. He talked about if you're interested in IT, he mentioned CompTI as a training resource, and he said the first thing you need to do is to start with A+ training. That provides you with a foundation to help determine if this is actually for you, if this is what you want to do. And he says you need to know the form of training that's best for you. Are you the one who's able to do self-training, or do you need to go to a structured environment for your learning? So know yourself, know your tendencies, and figure out what works for you. He also admonished us to identify what motivates you. Think about that source of motivation and act on it, let it propel you to success. And of course, we've been speaking about interviewing skills extensively. To the lady who said, you don't have much experience, the fact is that they call you for an interview, you present something to them. So there's information in that document, your resume, or whatever it is you sent to them that caused them to call you, and that's what you speak to your experience. And receive advice from HR specialists that say, sometimes I want to know about you personally. But of course, I do agree with our speaker that generally speaking, when you go for an interview, you want to speak about yourself relative to what's needed at that company. And then there are times when they say, I want to know about you personally, and then you can speak to that as well. There's a lot to learn, there's a lot to share, and we have a lot of resources in this room. It's been quite a time of learning, a time of empowerment, and we have much more for you later in the afternoon. Now, how many of you have received this? Have you completed them? Well, here's the deal. If you don't complete them, I have a few of these, and I'm going to take them all home with me, right? So please don't complete them so I can keep them all to myself. Does that sound fair? All right, so please take a few minutes to complete that. We will be doing some drawings, and the lucky ones, several of you, will walk away with some Visa cards today. So please take the moment to complete them. Now, I believe somebody has another question or comment. We'll take that as the last comment. You had a question or comment?
Although it's just a comment, and it relates to the interviewing aspect of it. Generally, when you go for an interview, like my sister is saying, you don't have any experience, while you were in school, you were doing courses that relates to whichever program or degree you are in. Those are the things you are going to hammer on during your interview. Whether you are involved in project management or whether it's IT. All those things are going, you go there to show that you are going to be an asset to that company, to make them, because you have to do your research on the organization anyway. So whether they are IT, business, logistics, you're going to show how you're going to increase the value of their organization. And when we're preparing resume, you have to you have to be on the aspect of a functional resume. Don't go the curriculum order, because you have to emphasize whatever the company is looking for. That is the purpose. Whether you be in a cashier, you be in home health, when you started, those are not the things you put in the top of your resume. It is what that job, the job description, the objective, those are the things you put on top of your resume. And when you do ask the question, tell us a little bit about yourself. That's always the first questions. I interview people every day for my organization. But then, even though I want to know about you, you have to relate it to what we are advertising for. Whatever it is. I'm not really interested in knowing whether you have 3 kids, 4 kids. You can tell me about where you've gone to school, your degree, and how that relates to the position that is being posted as of that time. And I've seen so many mistakes of people talking about other stuff they want to do.
They will ask you what you want to be, how do you see yourself in the next 5 years, in the 10 years? That's another common question.
Thank you very much. All right, so for the icebreaker, it's actually an activity where you move around. So you need to find people in the room who have actually done those things on the sheet. And they need to sign them. So walk around and find somebody who knows how to play a musical instrument, and they initial it. Yes, I know. So move around, and we're getting ready for lunch. So please take a moment to do that. We are getting ready for lunch. Lunch will be served in a few minutes. And we have a lot more in store for you after lunch. We're going to talk about immigration, and we're going to get a chance to ask some deep questions to some men of valor in the room today. So there's much more to talk about, a lot more networking.